Wow, I would have a question for you today. This is Brother Peter with Tidbit from the Word. My question to you today, have you been an invisible Christian? Have you been an invisible churchgoer? Have you been an invisible follower of Christ in these days of the pandemic on this world? Have you allowed the fear of catching this thing yourself to tie your hands and feet and your mouth from doing what God would have you do? I can honestly tell you, I haven't had to slow down a minute. You say, what do you mean, Brother Peter? You haven't had to slow down. I haven't had to be. I've been careful, but I have not been over careful. And if 400 other people can be out running around and not worrying about it, and I'm a Christian, and I'm supposed to be talking to people about Christ that might catch this thing and die, then why should I hide my head in the closet and not get out? So we have a great Redeemer. His name is Jesus Christ. He is our protector. Yes, we're not going to act foolish. We're not going to stick our hand in a meat grinder and say, God, I'm going to stick my hand in there, but don't let it grind my hand off. No, we're not going to do that. But Timothy, here's a little young man, Timothy. When Paul was released from prison in 64 to 67 A.D., it's accurate, and it was during the interval where he wrote the first epistle to Timothy. Also, he wrote Titus at the same time. Some authorities think that Paul wrote from Macedonia. Apparently, he had left Timothy in Ephesus. And Timothy, 1 Timothy 1 and 3, and he wrote the letter to encourage and to assist him. In 1 Timothy 6 and 20. And we need to encourage those around us who are Christians to act like it, to get out here. Don't be sitting around gnawing on your fingernails, fearing this and fearing that. I can't even get near some of my Christian brothers. They say, oh, wait a minute, you're too close, you've been all over the world. We shouldn't be that way. We should not be that way. We should not let this thing fear us. We should stand out. Yes, be sensible, but also be the Christian that we need to be. He said, I beseech thee to abide still at Ephesus when I went into Macedonia, that thou mightest charge some that they teach no other doctrine. 1 Timothy 1 and 3. So we're not teaching another doctrine. We're teaching the same doctrine that Timothy was. We're teaching it in Paul. And we're in danger maybe today of catching a little something to make us go to heaven a little early. They were in danger in that day of getting a head cut off and going to prison. He said, if I tarry long, that they mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of God, which is the church of the living God, which is the pillar and the ground of truth. 1 Timothy 3:15. I listened to earlier today, before I got on the YouTube today, I listened to Brother Don, our pastor at Faith Baptist Church, teaching a Wednesday night lesson. And in his Wednesday night lesson, he was teaching continue in the doctrine of God. Grow in it so that you're worth something. Are you worth something spiritually? During this little bitty time that we've had, this 2 or 3 weeks of not doing anything in particular, but have we witnessed to our neighbors? Have we talked to people around us? Have we got out? Have we done some things that we need to do during this period of time? And the word doctrine occurs 8 times in this little book. And the word godliness occurs 8 times in this little book. And teach and the teacher occurs 7 times in this little book. Good occurs 22 times in the little book of Timothy. If you're still shut in, and you should happen to see this little thing Brother Peter's doing right here, and you're still shut in, get in the book. Get in the book of Timothy. Get in the book of Timothy. Open your Bible. Have you opened your Bible? Are you fellowshipping with God? Are you still carrying on and continuing in your Christian life just because you're separated from the church? Are you praying? Are you still praying? Are you praying to God on a daily basis? He said men ought to always to pray in verse 8. How are women to pray? He tells that in 9 and 15 with their head covered. How are the officers of the church supposed to act? The requirements of elders, the requirements of deacons, and the requirements of Paul to Timothy. Paul said, this is what I'm going to require of you, Timothy, if you're going to be a minister of the gospel, if you're going to be a carrier of the gospel of Jesus Christ, that you be chaste, you separate yourself from the things of the world, and you don't let the things of the world shake you up so that you're not useful. And you can recognize the apostate. Who are the apostate in this particular time of this pandemic? Who are the apostate? Those are the ones who are not carrying the gospel, who have it in their own heart, have it in their own grasp, have heaven in their hand, know that if they died right now they would go to heaven, and they're not telling everybody about it. That one soul that may be caught up in this disease and go to the grave early, unsaved, and you're standing right there, and you say, well, I know old Joe down there I work with, he's done gone. He got that thing last week and he died. Did he go to heaven? Do you know whether he went to heaven or not? Are we supposed to know? We are supposed to know the Joes of this world. And we are supposed to witness to them. And what is the relationship of a believer in the world today? And what is his job? His job is to pass on the Word of God, that all those who you hear or know can hear the gospel. This is not just a doctrinal statement. This is a statement of what we do when we have salvation. We witness to others so they can have salvation, so they can go to church. Had I died before 1972, I would have gone straight to hell. Somebody had to get to me and tell me about Jesus, and they did. And the pandemic that I was in that day was alcohol. And alcohol is a pandemic today. It's this little disease we have that's killing a few people today is not killing any more than alcohol is. And by the way, one of the biggest things in our little town has been the liquor stores. They're packed every day. They're packed down there. The liquor stores are packed with people every day. They're not worried about this thing. They're worried about whether they can get another drink or not. And you and I, who belong to Jesus Christ, are not worrying about their souls enough to get out here and talk to them. So let's get on the ball, my friend, and do what God would have us do. And I'll see you next time. Right. Bye-bye.